All right. Welcome back. I'm back already. Like I said, don't be surprised if I have another live stream later on today. But I just want to kick back and have fun with this live stream. I know it's not often that we have a good time, that there's a happy subject, right? But we try our best. We try our best to have a good time in here. I think we do a good job. But I'm usually not a part of that. I'm usually dealing with some, rather stressful information. And I will still deal with stressful information in this video, but I'm going to kick back and have fun with this one. Now, the members, I shared my archive, right? Those of you who are members, I shared my archive. The videos that I shared in that section will be gone over in this video along with additional videos, right? But I have to deal with this because we deal with this so much. Now the beautiful days are over. How's everybody doing out there? Yeah, it's not beautiful now. Now it is raining, raining, raining. And I appreciate the rain. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It was just so nice. The perfect weather. It's not that humid. That's the worst thing about Ohio, man, is the humidity. And we finally had the perfect weather. Perfect weather. I was happy. I'm still happy, and we need the rain. So let me not complain. But I hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday. We're going to have our sermon this Sunday, right? Sunday morning, right? Let's get into it. I wanted to go over this because we hear this all the time, right? Responsible dog owner, responsible dog owner. Now, to counter that, I've always said there's no such thing as a responsible dog owner. That if you own one, that is an act of irresponsibility. You should never assume that everybody in the country is going to be able to control dogs. You cannot assume that you will be able to control them because the means by which you use to control them might be manipulated by who? The dog, or should I say by what? The dog. See, this is the difference. Dogs have the ability to manipulate anything you use to try to control their movement, to try to conceal them or contain them in a certain area. So there is no such thing as a responsible dog owner, okay? Now I see that there are no moderators in the room. If anybody starts to, get disruptive, use the highlight right at me in the chat room and I'll check it out. Right, but this is very, very important. There's no such thing as a responsible dog owner. Now, I've showed this video before. I'm going to show it again here. The very act, like I've always said, the very act of having these things in our territory is grossly irresponsible. Grossly irresponsible.
So here's an example of a dog that obeys. I'm going to walk and leave. Now I could go.
I'm going to turn that volume down. Now, what's even more disgusting is these people look at the dog's ability to jump over fences as neat, something that's neat. They view it as like it represents a genius in the dog. They actually will name the videos like that. Genius dog figures out how to escape and all this kind of stuff. There's no such thing. See, even when a dog attacks, the law is to force that person to have a dangerous dog license. And one thing they have to do is build a fence if they haven't built one already. And here you clearly see that fences are worthless. Now that was a 5-foot fence. 5-foot fence. This is an 8-foot fence. And
Guys, on everybody needs.
like I said, they are fascinated by it. They don't look at the dog jumping over a big fence and saying, oh no, this is horrible, horrible. You know, we need a bigger fence and we can't afford a bigger fence. But one of these days, that mutt could jump over that fence and attack someone. Attack someone. Look how tall that fence is. And it is absolutely worthless. These mutts scale these worthless fences like nothing. Again, y'all walking down through a neighborhood or something, you hear dogs behind the fence. People, do not assume that you're safe. I want you to be on high alert, okay? High alert. If you got something with you for protection, put your hands on it. Brace yourself to actually using it, okay? These laws have given these lunatics the green light to terrorize us. Terrorize us. Now, this fence is over 8 feet tall. Just like that other fence was 8 feet tall. This is over 8 feet tall. So people, just think about that. You see a fence this tall, you're still not safe. You believe that? Can you believe that? Look at this. They're making a big spectacle out of it. Pull out the camera. They want to actually record it. They're proud of dogs that are capable of doing stuff like this. They're proud of them. Look at this. Look at this. Look at how easily it got over that fence. Can y'all see that? Look at that. Unbelievable. Again, just owning these things is irresponsible. You're going to actually expect the general public to figure out a way. This is basically what they're telling them. Figure out a way to control and conceal something like this while at the same time not being accused of animal abuse. How you going to do that? You going to lock it in a steel container? How you going to contain this thing? You cannot contain these things and avoid being accused of animal abuse at the same time. This is insanity, people. Insanity. So like I said, no matter how tall a fence may be, they even jump over 10 feet fences. 10 feet. And many of these dogs, I would say most of them, I believe, are bully breeds. Bully breeds. Another reason why bully breeds need to be banned. Now look, you dog nuts, I understand that you object to, wait a minute, what is this? What is it? Okay. Yeah, you object to my belief that all dogs should be exterminated. And I can understand that because I understand where my mind is. I understand where your mindset is. But at the very least, not even dog nuts can dispute the belief that bully breeds should be banned. The statistics are just too overwhelming. Now, this is a boxer, and you're going to see various different types of dogs jumping over fences. And boxers are really bully breeds to me. You know, they're not much different from bully breeds. And they jump over these fences like nothing. And you telling me that these fences are ordered by the courts as a requirement of a person whose dog has already attacked someone, right? This is after a dog has attacked someone. The judge give you a dangerous mutt license. You telling me that these worthless fences is what's going to allow him or what permits him to keep that mutt? These things are absolutely worthless. Worthless. It's another fence over 6 feet tall. This is nothing. This is nothing. And especially in these neighborhoods where people, they don't have much money. They can't build no 30-foot fence. They have shorter fences than this on average. I would say on average, shorter fences. You are not safe. You're not safe. Nobody is safe. Now this is a 10-foot. This is a 10-foot fence. 10-foot fence. Y'all clearly see that. You clearly see that. So you talk to these dog nuts. You ask them, okay, what do responsible dog owners do? One of the first things they say is they have a good, tall fence. It's even ordered by the courts. Got to get a fence and we'll let you keep your dog. No, what needs to be done is all of them needs to be put down. There should be a nationwide order from the president himself demanding that all dogs, at the very least, all bully breeds. Now, I'm being realistic now. I know just getting rid of all dogs, that's a dream and a desire that's far down the road. But the need to get rid of bully breeds, that should happen now. Right now. Bully breeds beg to be exterminated with their behavior. Right? I think that's very hard, I would say difficult to refute. Ain't that crazy? Yeah, that's it. Don't go near these people's homes. You know, it's unfortunate that when you become enlightened about the truth about dogs, you sort of you robbed of your freedom to enjoy the weather. You know, I always talk about the nice weather and all this kind of stuff, but you really take a chance. Now you're more aware of the chance you're taking and possibilities, the risks involved in just walking through your own neighborhood. What it is we are more aware of how we're being terrorized by these dog owners. This is domestic terrorism. And our laws has given them the green light to practice this domestic terrorism. Now, as we all know, not only can these worthless mutts jump over fences, they can also crawl underneath fences. You cannot control these things. Talking about a responsible dog owner. No, an irresponsible courtroom, right? Irresponsible lawmakers make it legal to own these things. That itself is an act of irresponsibility. Now, this video is crazy and pretty unexpected. Now, most people would look at a fence like this and say, oh, you know, this is a responsible dog owner. Look at this. Absolutely worthless. Now, just think all the stories we've read, that I've gone over on this channel, that you have read on your own. Think of all the stories that say the dog escaped. The dog escaped. It just escaped. Nobody knows how. This is how it happens. These mutts, their bodies can contort like a rat, like most other animals. This mutt just crawled underneath. It didn't even really need to dig a hole. Just crawled underneath it. So it's irresponsible to own creatures like this, period. Period. You know, and these people, they're not that bright. These dog nuts not that bright. They're not going to come up with some genius plan. Now, what you have to look at, you got to look at the fact that you never see these dog nuts having conversations with other dog nuts about stuff like this. You know, like, how can we stop dogs from crawling underneath fences? How can we stop our dogs from jumping over fences? And another dog nut say, well, I do this, this, and that. And express, no, these people just don't have discussions like that at all, because then they will have to face the reality that their dog is in fact dangerous and is a danger to the general public. So they don't have discussions like that. And those are the sane, humane discussions that need to be had. That's why I despise these people, like the Humane Society. Talk about being humane, when the protection of these mutants in our society is as inhumane as you can possibly get, right? So the mutts jump over fences, the mutts crawl underneath fences, the mutts also break clean through doors. Clean through doors. They're that heavy, wild, and strong. Look at this. Here, let me give you some sound so you can get the true feeling of this footage. This mutt just jumped through a glass door. And that looked like a German Shepherd. So imagine a big, strong bully breed. Not even a glass door is reliable. Not with these things being as wild and crazy as they are. Look at this. No such thing as a responsible dog owner, people. No such thing. Because almost anything that you do that you feel is responsible, like having a freaking door, it can be manipulated by the dog. That mutt just broke that glass with its face. With its face. Unbelievable. So anything that is capable of destroying barriers that you create is irresponsible to have them in society, especially when they are lethal creatures. Lethal creatures. Not even glass doors can be trusted. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. Look at that. You can't trust anything. You cannot trust anything to contain these things. So what does that mean? It means it's irresponsible for you to own it. As we all know, they even break leashes. Now, if a dog owner has a dog on a leash, they're going to be considered to be a responsible dog owner. This is the #1 thing that they use to define a responsible dog owner. Somebody who keeps their dog on a leash.
Of the dangers of retractable leashes for years now.
Lawsuits have complaints of them snapping, striking.
In this area,
where small foster terrier Zeke was ready to go for a walk when another larger boxer mix approached.
And broke a retractable leash and got away from the owner.
That dog got Zeke in its mouth and killed the smaller terrier.
It's devastating. It's,
so the leash broke. The leash broke. There are many comments online from dog owners talking about their leash having just broken. They didn't even let go of it. It's not like the dog, forced them to slip away, to allow it to slip out of their hands. No, these mutants actually break the leashes. You can't trust anything.
It's going so far.
You had a bunch of dog nuts in the dog park. This is so nasty. Let's go behave like primitive cavemen. And they so fascinated.
Not so far. It's out of my movie range.
I don't understand what they get out of this.
Oh, we let it off the leash.
Looking at dogs run.
What happened?
He broke the leash.
So that black and white mutt broke the leash. Broke the leash. And even if these dog nuts hold on to the leash, you got a problem of them being dragged. We've seen them. We've seen the videos, right? I showed that one video where the mutt dragged a woman into a river. And this is why, look, you cannot trust these people in public who got a big mutt on a leash. Those people need to be cussed out. Cussed out. And I don't care. I will cuss out anybody with a flipping big mutt, especially when you look frail and fragile. I don't care how big you are. Look at this. That thing could have been after someone's child. And guess what? It would have got to him. Just drag the people. So what's the point in having a leash? You still want to have this discussion about how public safety is adhered to when they have a leash? Look at it. People ain't got no control over these mutts. And these people will actually give a child the leash. That is so infuriating. When I see that, and more than anything else, you need to call that out. You see anybody, call the police on them. I'm dead serious. You see a grown adult hand a dog leash, and it's a big dog on the leash, to a child, a toddler, a preteen, call the cops on them. They are creating a very hazardous situation. I don't play that. You got logic on your side. That child is too small to control that dog. Even according to the laws, what do they say? You have to be a what? Proper person. See, the thing is, people don't know the laws. So they don't force these people, these dog nuts, to adhere to the laws. Many of the dog nuts themselves don't know the laws, right? But the Crusaders know the laws. So if the cops show up, they're going to have to side with you. This lunatic, idiot dog nut gave that leash to a preteen who is not capable of controlling that mutt. And that's why I called the police, right? Check your laws and know them well. Know them well. These people are absolute lunatics, and they cannot control these mutts. Now, I know you might see a bunch of women here, but don't get it twisted. Men can't control these things either. They might have a little easier time doing it, but realistically, they can't control these things either. And especially when you see somebody with two mutts, you think, and they're all small, they're going to drag that woman anywhere they want to go. That's why I say this narrative of dog leashes is a scam. It's just a big con. Just one of the things they use to make you think that they are concerned about public safety, our safety, when they're actually not. They're just giving these people the green light to terrorize everybody else in the community. That's all it is. And we got to crack down on some of these laws because they're absolutely worthless. This has been a good week for me. And I'm telling you, it would be even more intense. I would be even on their necks even more if I were doing this for a living. You dog nuts are so lucky. It's not just me. Other channels, they can't do this for a living. They really can't be as focused on the content as they would be. But you just wait. You just wait. There will be some anti-dog channels who grow big enough, just like the pro-dog channels, to focus on their content 24/7. Dog nuts are so lucky. Now, here's footage. This mutt dragging this boy across the street. And this boy looked like he was about 12 years old. And I'm telling you, they will give the leash over to children smaller than him. And this mutt is dragging this boy like it's nothing. I mean, we got footage like this. You know, you want to take me to court? Yeah, I told you you breaking the law. I called the cops on you because you handed a dog leash, a big old mutt. You handed it over to a child. And look at this video. You don't got to look at no video. You should know good and well that no child is able to control no big dog. This is lightweight infuriating, right? I wanted to have a good time. I'm still having a good time. But man, this is absurd. Absolutely absurd. Again, no such thing as a responsible dog owner. There's no such thing. Now, how many of you have seen this one? This one was really crazy. And it just illustrates how impossible it is for everybody in the general public to physically contain dogs. Look at this. See, they playing some stupid music. I'm not into that. Look at this. Y'all see that? Any creature that's lethal, deadly, dangerous, and it's also capable of maneuvers like this, you're irresponsible for simply owning it. For simply owning it. I don't want to hear nothing about a responsible dog owner is not a dog owner at all. Simple as that. And look, this mutt scales up the fences and escapes through the roof. The roof. This is how it happens. We get the story in the media reports, and they always say the dog escaped. The dog escaped. And you always have to wonder, how did it escape? This is an important part of this process. Attacking this situation or these situations where dogs cannot be contained. They cannot be controlled. And thus, there's no such thing as a responsible dog owner. Responsible people are not dog owners. So this stupid mutt escapes. Now other dogs can do the same. What about this? You put a mutt in a cage. Not even these crates. And these things are designed for dogs to be inside of them, to contain dogs. So you can't even trust the products given to you by the dog nut world. And listen to this nasty mutt. This is another thing that's annoying. I always got to deal with hearing a mutt breathe. So disgusting. That's not a natural animal. That's not natural animal behavior. I don't care what none of y'all dog nuts say. It is disgusting and very vile for something to breathe so loud and heavily with his mouth hanging wide open that you can hear every inhale and exhale. It's disgusting. And why is it making all these sounds? Why? Because it's a brain damaged mutant. The purposeless noises. What's wrong with these things? They're mutants, absolute worthless mutants. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, this is the responsible dog owner right here. Huh? Look at that stupid, goofy mutt. Look at that goofy mutt. Squealing. This is how they escape. This is how they escape, people. And you notice all over YouTube, they want to project the presence of a crate as evidence of a responsible dog owner. I don't think so. I don't think so. And these crates are so worthless. You know, some people might have thought, oh, well, it's a pit bull. Well, pit bull is big and strong. No, multiple types of mutts can break out of these things. So again, these dog lovers can't even rely on the products created by the dog nut world, by the industry. items that are made on an assembly line specifically to contain dogs for public safety. This is your public safety right here. And you know, you can't trust anything this flimsy anyway. These things are worthlessly built. A dog, they simply sink their teeth around the cages and pull it, you know, disrupt the structure of it. And then eventually it's gonna give in. Nothing can take this much of continuous abuse. Mutt snagging on it, biting on it. You know, this is another important part of it. These stupid, worthless mutt cages. Here you got another different type of mutt escaping this cage. How did it get it? How did it get out? It's just over and over and over and over, damaging the infrastructure of it, and then just slips through the cracks like a rat. Look at that. Look at that. You telling me that a responsible person would own this? I don't think so. I don't think so. And it's not just the cages, jumping over fences. These things have a multiple ways of escaping any enclosure. Look at this. Look at that. You see that? Show that again. And you see what they wrote at the top? That's the name of the video too. Genius Dogs Escaping. They think this is neat. This is nothing but a bunch of evidence that can be used against legalizing dogs. Simple as that. Look at this. Squeeze through the most minute holes. They'll get through the tightest cracks. And what's the first thing they do? Look for somebody to attack. Isn't that mutant, deranged behavior? They work like crazy to escape. And first thing they want to do when they escape is look for somebody to attack. And attack them for absolutely no reason at all. What a hateable group of creatures. Look at this mutt. Scaling the fence. I'm sure they thought that they were responsible dog owners as well. But you're dealing with creatures at the end of the day. Large creatures that have limbs, okay? How confident would you be in your ability to contain human beings like this? Man, they would escape constantly, just like these mutts do. Look at this. Yeah. Oh, I hate these things so much. With every drop of blood in my body, I hate these things. Now, this surfaced a few days ago. Here, hold up. Make sure I didn't. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, this surfaced a few days ago. How many people saw this? These mutts were at a daycare. A daycare. You believe that? See, trying to contain a dog is irresponsible. And when you got a company trying to contain multiple dogs, you have the chance of this happening. Multiple dogs escaping. And then what they're going to do? What they always do. Look for somebody to attack. That's it. Look for somebody to attack. So this is irresponsibility at the highest level. How many people seen this new video that came out titled A Rough Dog's Life or something like that? Where it's like a documentary against these shelters because the shelters euthanize like over 1 million dogs a year. I think pit bulls specifically over 1 million of them are euthanized every year. And there's a movie. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go over it. In fact, I'm going to rent it today and I'm going to watch it, because I really need to do a documentary like that. And that is something that can really get people's attention. And this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible, people. It's horrible that we got footage. We got so much evidence that these things are a public hazard, are a child safety hazard. And the lawmakers and enforcers totally ignore this stuff and give these mutts all the freedom in the world that they need to carry out the 5+ million attacks that they do every year, that they wage every year on the helpless primarily. Unbelievable. Look at that small hole that mutt got through. Unbelievable. This is how it happens. This is how it happens. Then the mutts, they start running through the neighborhood, and then they find somebody's child walking home from school and attack them. Why? For no reason at all. Just to establish dominance. Look at this. And people, y'all notice something? Y'all notice something? This is a video uploaded by the doo-doo. This is a despicable, dangerous video that exposes the fact that there's no such thing as a responsible dog owner. And it was uploaded by the king of dog propaganda itself, the doo-doo. I really hate the doo-doo with every drop of blood in my veins. Such a repugnant area of the internet. This is absolute madness. And what is this? Now, like I said, to have these things inside the home, to have these things in our society, okay, period, is a form of terrorism. And when you bring them inside the home, it's a form of child abuse. I mean, just having them in the neighborhood is a form of child abuse, but especially so inside the home. These things are loose cannons, ticking time bombs. But you see, the fact that it is a form of child abuse, the dog owner, the adult, may not even be conscious of it, that owning a dog itself is a form of child abuse. But what you find out is that many of these dog lovers, they're so obsessed with the dog that they start to hate their own children. When you shower in a dog with all this adoration and love, and you worship in the very existence of the thing, any and everything it does, you melting inside, right? You nasty, you have an intercourse with the mutt. Quite naturally, you're going to start to have disdain for your own child. And rather than view the use of language, which is what your child would use, as a form of communication, you're going to be frustrated when your child tries to talk to you. In your mind, you're going to be like, why can't you just be quiet like the dog? Why do you always have to ask questions? Be like a dog and just run up to me and, treat me like the most wonderful person in the world. Anything that has to do with human traits and gifts, you're going to start to dislike it when it comes from your child. This is so dangerous, especially so seeing that they compare dogs to children and treat dogs like children. When they call themselves fur mommy and fur daddy, and they verbally admit this, that they view dogs as lifelong kids. Kids that never grow old. Y'all heard that? So inside the homes of these dog nuts, in my opinion, a whole bunch of child abuse goes on, both physically and psychologically. And here is the proof of that, or evidence of
And right
that,
now
in my
it's a
opinion.
head-shaking discovery. Children locked up like animals. The Wise County Sheriff says those kids were hungry and malnourished. Good evening. I'm John McKay.
And I'm Cynthia Izaguirre. Deputies discovered 4 little children inside a makeshift home in Rome. That's about a half-hour northwest of Fort Worth. Lauren Zakalik spoke with neighbors who had no idea what was happening just yards away from their homes.
Well, people in this Wise County neighborhood say they didn't even know children lived in the house behind me, so they were horrified to hear what deputies say they discovered. 4 siblings, all living in squalor. 2 of those siblings, they say, were locked up together in a dog cage. A domestic violence investigation early Tuesday morning at this Wise County property quickly deepened when deputies heard children inside.
The deputy went inside to check on the children's welfare, and they found filthy conditions.
Sheriff Lane Aiken says 4 children ages 5 and under were found in squalor, covered in feces and urine. The kids were malnourished too. The younger children weren't wearing clothes, and the refrigerators stocked with food were padlocked. And then it got worse.
2 of the older children who were locked inside a dog kennel, one that's probably about 3 by 3 by 3.
The 24-year-old parents who've had contact with Family and Protective Services before were arrested for child endangerment.
I mean, it's more than sad, right? It's not something you want to happen to anybody, especially an innocent child.
Amber Jester, who lives across the street, says the parents moved in just weeks ago, but she'd never seen the children.
Hope that they receive love and everything that every child should receive, you know, nutrition and someone who cares for them. And obviously it's not in the home that they were in.
Neighbor Barry Benson echoed those sentiments.
Certainly don't expect human beings to treat their own offspring that way.
The sheriff says the children's mother would also face a domestic violence charge for the original incident.
And most all of our deputies are parents, and this sickens us all.
Those children are now safe, fed, and in the hospital. Reporting near Newark in Wise County.
Well, what do you expect when you permit a group of our population to brag about how much they hate children, about how much dogs are better than children? You don't think that's going to rub off on their psyche, and that eventually they're going to start to physically act out their hatred and disdain for? I'm telling you, this dog nuttery, it is also child abuse. This is some satanic sickness we're dealing with. It's devilish, man, absolutely devilish. And it requires or involves a deep hatred for children. That is why they sacrifice those children's safety, which is sacrificing their blood by bringing dogs into the home. But it doesn't stop there at putting them at risk. It is also seen in how they physically treat those. They will eventually physically abuse those children.
A couple who used to live in Newington are facing charges after police say they locked their 2 adopted children in dog cages when they lived in Connecticut. Jennifer and Michael Thalman were in court today in New Britain. Police say they turned themselves in on Sunday. They're accused of not giving the children enough food, hitting them with paddles, and locking them in cages as a form of punishment.
They did that to adopted kids. But don't get it twisted. They do it to their own kids as well. Don't get it twisted. Crazy stuff, people. Shout out to Traveling Misfit. Also, shout out to another, my apologies, I missed one of the super chats. People, we might think off the bat that these are isolated incidents, but I don't think so. Right? I've said this before. I don't think these are, I think this is quite common, because when you have a good number of reports like this that make it out to the public, you can rest assured it is more frequent in the population of people, and they're getting away with it. It's not being reported.
I want to bring in Michelle Springer. She is the family's next door neighbor and witnessed the entire incident. Michelle, what did you see and hear?
I saw the little boy on the front porch. He was crying. He was in trouble. I asked him, was he in trouble? And he said yes. The next thing I knew, the two women, they came out of the front porch. I watched as they poured syrup on his hands and feet and covered him with kitty litter.
Poured syrup on the child's hands and feet and covered him with kitty litter. They locked a 6-year-old boy in a dog cage.
Both of them were there yelling and hitting him. They made him hold bricks above his head.
Made him hold bricks above his head. They were torturing this boy. This is what I'm talking about, people. We're dealing with a group of lunatics. These people are absolute lunatics. Dog nuts, they think I'm extreme when I talk about how crazy these people are. But when you look at the other behaviors that they exhibit, you start to realize, it become clear as day, these people are lunatics.
They came out of the front porch. I watched as they poured syrup on his hands and feet and covered him with kitty litter. The both of them were there yelling and hitting him. They made him hold bricks above his head. He cried, do you love me? Do you two love me? Please don't kill me.
Oh my gosh.
The mom grabs him by the back of the neck and just shoves him into the cage. She locked the cage, and he was just screaming, no, no.
Wow. Boy heard yelling, I thought you loved me. Wow.
Anahita, what do we do with people like this?
Dr. Drew.
Well, you created people like this with your dog nuttery. All you media outlets that support this dog nuttery, you help create people like this. You're partially at fault. Everybody who participates in this culture or upholds it, support it in any way, you are also to blame. The only way to avoid being guilty of contributing to stuff like this is to openly speak out against the existence of dogs, especially dog nuttery as it exists in this country today and all over the world.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
You see what you're doing, saying? There's such a distance between what's disturbing to Jason and a case like this.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, their defense is gonna be, this is discipline, and we
It's
as
not
parents.
discipline.
Oh my gosh, lock them in a cage. This is disgusting. This is nauseating. Why are you shooting the messenger? I'm
Go
trying
ahead,
to
finish, my dear, finish.
You know, you asked me.
messenger's wearing a target.
Right.
So, like I said, these people who, I'm sure some of these people on this panel,
Go ahead, finish.
I'm sure some of these people on this panel are saying, oh, that's so disgusting, that they're also dog nuts themselves. They're just not taking it to that extreme yet. But even if they're not, they are implying psychologically to the child, hey, this dog is more important than you. That's why I'm going to have it inside the house. If it attacks you, oh well, you better just hope you live. And if you live, we'll get rid of it. And then guess what? We're going to buy a different dog because dogs are more important than you. That is what these adults, what these parents are saying to their children simply by owning dogs, a form of child abuse.
A woman is facing child endangerment charges after a video surfaces of children getting out of pet kennels in the back of her SUV. Police in Memphis say
Look at that. Look at that. And she's so bold. See, this comes from us not having or putting any pressure on these dog nuts. They're so confident now that they will do something like this in broad daylight. These kids are getting out of dog cages. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. We've given these people far too much leniency. We have ignored their nuttery for far too long. It's gotten this bad.
Children told investigators there was no room in
Look
the
at how big that child is.
back seat of the truck, so their grandmother put them inside dog crates in the back.
Man, you should have got them stupid dog crates out the vehicle. Make them get inside of a dog crate. Just don't have the dogs. This is what I'm talking about. See, the kids were sacrificed for the presence of the dogs, where they had to treat the kids like dogs. Because why? Because they refused to get rid of the dogs. It's a sacrifice in many different ways. These things, again, have no place in society. Let me see what else this crazy video said.
A woman is facing child in the truck, so their grandmother put them inside dog crates in the back. The 62-year-old grandmother was arrested after the video was shared online. Officers say the 7- and 8-year-old children rode in the car that way for about 35 minutes and were hot, but otherwise okay.
Wow. Wow. A whole lot of dog nuttery this morning. Boy, oh boy. It don't stop. 4 malnourished children who were discovered inside a North Texas barn have been placed in foster care. Notice how they are quite often malnourished. These people get off on torturing kids. Now, they may not go to this length or be this extreme, but abuse takes place at a lesser degree in the home of all dog lovers. They all entertain the mentality of dogs are children. Dogs are greater than children. Crazy. The children were found on Tuesday, some covered in urine and feces, others crammed inside a dog cage. Authorities made the disturbing discovery while investigating family violence. Wow. Wow. Authorities arrested Paige Harkins and Andrew Fabila, both 24 years old. Harkins has been identified as the children's mother and Fabila as the father to one of the children. Unbelievable. And this is Time that reported this. The pair faces 4 counts of endangering a child and are being held in jail. These people are crazy. Like I say, you playing with fire. Stop allowing such a large group. You don't allow anybody to talk like this. But here it's a massive group, millions of people, to entertain and embrace the idea that dogs are better than our own youth. There's some things you just shouldn't say. I don't want to hear nothing about that being tyranny and that we all should have the freedom. Look, there's a moral code. Moral code in human beings. That's part of what makes us human beings. That we're not a free-for-all. We're not animals. And that's what these people trying to make us function like some primitive, nasty, wild animals. Oh, sorry about that.
And I'm Rick Van Hoos. The father of a 4-year-old boy is fighting to get custody of his son.
This after police say the boy was beaten with a wooden stick and forced to sleep in a dog kennel. Haley Lampert sat down with the boy's grandmother. She joins us now with her exclusive interview. Haley?
Vicki and Rick, according to court records, the boyfriend of the child's mother made her put her son in a dog kennel every night for a period of about 6 months.
6 months. This boy had to sleep in a dog cage every night for 6 months.
The boy's grandmother said,
you can't tell me that the adults in these situations are not the same people on Facebook talking about how wonderful dogs are and how much better dogs are than kids. These are the same people who leave comments like that. I guarantee you, they either leave comments like that or they'll give it a thumbs up, they'll give it a like or something.
Says when she recently learned what had been going on, it made her feel sick to her stomach. This is a picture of a father and his 4-year-old son.
My grandson is like a little miniature him.
But the day this picture was taken was the first time the little boy had seen his dad in years.
It broke his heart to see him take him away.
6 days later, the boyfriend of the boy's mother was taken away and put in jail for criminal abuse of a child. According to Kentucky State Police, 49-year-old David Petty beat the 4-year-old with a wooden stick and locked him in a dog crate at night.
Nah, I bet you anything he wasn't abusing that dog like that.
When I first found out, I was in shock. Disbelief that somebody could do something like this.
Police say the
No, you wasn't shocked. Because you also probably participated in this nuttery in some way. Co-signing. Even if you just fail to not speak out against it, you are participating in it. Right? Y'all, there's no group. Have y'all noticed? There's no group of dog lovers that are rallying against this narrative that dogs are better than children. You don't brainwash yourself on narratives like that. You will eventually produce people who treat dogs better than children, which is another way of treating children worse than you treat a dog. If these people were not so brainwashed and had any amount of decency in them, there would be a large group of them who are very vocal against these narratives. Many of these narratives that these people support, these anti-child, pro-dog narratives. Sickening.
This took place at this Edmonson County home. Investigators say they found a dog crate in the backyard and that the boy had been locked inside the cage on a regular basis.
We
Wow.
want to get where he'll forget all that he's been through, being put in a dog cage and beaten with a wooden stick. And when he wet on himself, they would put him in a cold shower for 30 minutes.
This woman who doesn't...
So he would wet himself and he would be put in a cold shower for 30 minutes. I mean, this is crazy. Crazy. And this, I think, comes from their own culture. It's a satanic ritual. Dog nuttery is just a different type of a satanic ritual. Sacrifice the child. How? Bring the dog into the house. Brainwash yourself with a bunch of anti-child, pro-dog nuttery. And then what? You now physically abuse the child. You're already abusive by bringing the dog into the house. That's psychological. Now you're going to physically abuse them. These people are sick, man.
Want to be identified also hasn't seen her grandson since 2006, but she has faith that one day that will change.
So we'll see.
This is animal worship, people. When you are willing to spill blood, human blood, for the presence or the existence of dogs, that is satanic worship. That's worship, dog worship, which is satanic in itself. But this is literally dog worship.
Him, and I will hold him, and I will tell him how much I love him. I just feel like I want to hold him forever and not let him go.
And she says she'll also never let go of the pain her grandson had to endure inside his own home.
I would like to see them put in a cage, like he was put in a cage. And just for the rest of their life.
Wow. Wow. Looking at this home, you'd never assume that something this gruesome and satanic would be going on inside of any of these homes this around our communities. This is disturbing.
I just want justice, but most of all, I want my grandson.
According to court records, the boy's mother told authorities her son could not stand up inside the kennel. The mother also said Petty whipped the child so hard multiple times she had to soak his bottom in cold water to reduce the swelling. She also told authorities she found child pornography on Petty's computer, but right now he is not facing any child porn charges. The court records state when the mother decided to separate from Petty, she took the 4-year-old boy along with a newborn, but an officer told her to leave her 2 other children in the home with Petty. I'm Haley Land.
Wow. Wow. How about that? How about that? Is that crazy or what? Shout out to JP Is that crazy? That's very, very disturbing, man. Yeah, and I think satanic is more accurate. This is, the devil is inside of these people. If you even believe in the devil. I really don't believe in the devil, but I believe in demonic spirits, evil spirits, because there are evil people in the world, and people are spirit beings. So 100%, this is some satanic stuff. Oh man, check this out. The madness does not stop.
Two kennels that were recovered from a home here in Gulfport from a child abuse case. Two children were being kept, one in each kennel, a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, respectively.
And how did you guys catch wind of this? How did this case develop?
This related from we had a community watch meeting that was citywide, and we received a complaint of suspicious activity. And when we responded there, we found the person inside had a warrant for his arrest. And when we went to arrest him, our narcotics units discovered this.
Were they actually in the kennels at the time that you guys went to them?
They were.
Were they locked with the door closed?
I'd rather not comment on that this time.
Do you guys know if there were any other signs of like physical abuse on the children's bodies?
I'd really like not to comment on that.
So you went to the house on January the 28th.
Correct.
And you made an arrest on the 3rd?
That's correct.
Okay, so you went back after.
We went back.
Okay.
Well, first and foremost, the concern was for the children. We worked with DHS to get the children taken out of the situation. We conferred with the DA's office.
No. You're not allowed to act concerned now. You're not allowed to act like you're concerned now. The thing to do is to stop certain narratives before they lead to certain behaviors. That's the responsible thing to do. And another reason I believe they put kids in dog crates, and you already know this goes on quite often. It's pretty hard to catch people doing this unless you set up a camera inside their home. I think this is a lot more common than we think. You know why they put their kids in those dog cages? It's because they view their kids as dogs, as no different from dogs. And that comes from them constantly brainwashing themselves, comparing kids to dogs. Oh, dogs are just as smart as 2-year-old kids. Dogs are family. Dogs are my kids. I'm a fur mom. I'm a fur dad. Brainwash, brainwash, brainwash. Until eventually you start to physically treat your child like a dog. These people view their kids and dogs as the same. This is so sickening and so devilish. I can't even put it into words. What is this? More nuttery. More nuttery. Now, I don't even remember what this was about. We're going to find out.
The grandmother of 12-year-old Brandon Hargreaves has joined the chorus of condemnation in the Upper Valley Cascade area and the country against those who imprisoned the schoolboy in a dog kennel with 2 angry dogs. The boy was
they put this boy in that cage with the dogs.
Stripped naked and placed in the kennel with the dogs.
They stripped them naked. Unbelievable.
His grandmother says it simply should not have happened.
Well, I am saddened about what took place. As a grandmother, he was a child. You have to say he is my child, because when you look at it, anything to run is I used to run. You understand? But I think the father handled it the wrong way.
But the grandmother admits the 12-year-old primary school student...
Man, can you believe that? You strip a child naked and put them in this thing with dogs? Don't that prove that they see the child as a dog? That's abuse. That's a horrible type of abuse. This is why I say, people, you're playing with demons when you own dogs. And it's going to cause you to eventually treat your child in an evil manner. And it's so much worse, the fact that they recite these spells, this rhetoric. Dogs are family. Dogs are better than kids. They all entertain this evil spirit, and they eventually start to act on it.
Student is indisciplined and believes his guardians grew frustrated and may have committed the act in a desperate bid to instill some discipline to prevent him from going on the wrong path.
This child wasn't a normal child that would behave himself. Problems, going to school, problems with the teacher, problems home. He's stealing, he's doing things that is not right, things that you wouldn't expect him to do, he would do. Because he must get frustrated after a while. At the beginning when it now started, we thought he would grow it out. But then when you reach 12 years and he's still doing it, what do you think? Police going to handle you just now? So the father was trying to avoid that.
Oh, so she's trying to justify it, saying the father was trying to just teach him a lesson because the boy was a troubled boy, getting into trouble constantly at school. And she said, oh, when he turned 12 years old, you would expect him to have grown out of that. But when he's still that way, what do you do? So she's defending this act, defending this nonsense. She probably supported it. She's probably behind it. May have even been her idea. That's why I say, people, you cannot entertain this type of lifestyle. Now, why was the boy so troubled? Could it be because he was the child of some abusive parents? That he felt neglected, mistreated? That he felt less valuable to you because you're willing to sacrifice his safety for a dog? You subliminally informing or telling the child that the dog is more important than you, and if it attacks you, oh well. And it's not just about or the dog or related to the dog. You yourself, you're entertaining this spirit, this idea that dogs are family, dogs are kids, and all that. Even unknowingly, unconsciously, you are going to start to be abusive toward your natural born children. You need to keep dogs out of our society. They are like demonic spirits, and they do nothing but contaminate you and curse you. They curse homes with hatred. It's not just physical threats. They destroy human social relationships. We've long talked about how they interfere with man-woman relationships. You know, the woman loves the dog, the man doesn't like dogs, and they end up breaking up because of the dog, or vice versa. Now, shout out to whoever sent this to me. Somebody sent this to me in an email, and I was meaning to make a whole video about it. You remember I made that video about dogs being mutants, right? Dogs being mutants. And this video compares the intelligence of wolves to dogs. And these people just flat out admit and somewhat prove that dogs are wild. So no matter what side they put the cheese connected to the string on, the wolves would choose that string. So the wolves can identify whether or not there's food connected to the string, and the dogs couldn't. Now, it may not be proof, but I feel that's strong evidence of regression, right? That's more evidence of their mutation. These are degenerate mutants, people. So the wolves are able to do this because they're still in the natural environment. So living around people help to make dogs dumb. Basically, you help make dogs. You shouldn't have to live out in the wilderness, in the wild, to be able to notice if there's food connected to a string. I can't roll with that. They're just trying to throw out anything to see if it'll stick. No, these are just mutants. I don't care how long you leave a dog out in the wilderness. Those mutants are going to go extinct. Their intelligence is not going to grow.
And for this,
just like they have never gotten any more used to being around humans. They still attack us today just as often as they did when they first got around us. About them not needing those problem-solving abilities. There's no problem at all. There's only a case of which string has food attached to it. It's about using your eyeballs. But dogs are so recessive. They're such mutants that they just don't function with intelligence at all. At all. Now, some things they do might come across as intelligent, right? We saw them scale that fence to get out, but that's more basic things. You know, you're talking about escape, trying to get away or something like that. Anytime it requires any type of deeper thought, these mutts score badly. Badly. Oh, okay, yeah. Somebody got the trolls. Good, good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, some people still getting up. Don't worry. Most likely I will be back later on. But I just wanted to share that with people. There is no such thing as a responsible dog owner. If you're just recently coming into the live stream, please check out the whole thing. I've been meaning, like I said, to do a video on this for a long time because it just burns me up when these people project the idea that it is possible to control these dogs, and that dog attacks in general, they project the idea that dog attacks in general is a result of irresponsible dog owners. And I have always said no. All dog owners are irresponsible. Responsible people would not own and try to control these things. And we have far too much proof, evidence, more than what I even showed here, that you cannot contain these things. These things have the ability to manipulate any type of barrier that you put before them. So the responsible thing to do is to not own them at all. I don't even believe that is up for discussion. So I want to thank everybody once again who joined me today. I think I'm going to spend all day with my subscribers. I will most likely see you all or talk to you all again later on today. I hope you are able to join me as we continue with this mighty crusade against these worthless mutants and their enabling owners.